buddy Patrick's behind the camera. He may or may not be in front of the camera as well, it's up to him. But he's gonna basically be my camera guy for the day. So we're gonna be replacing, putting back in the stock airbox. I'm doing the valve cover gasket, breather tube, and then the coupling that goes on the breather. So basically right now, we're just gonna be taking off the cone filter and the part of the intake just to get that stuff out of the way, so it makes it easier, just because it's gonna need to be replaced anyways. So might as well get it out. The weather's been pretty hot lately down here in San Diego. It was about 100 degrees at my house yesterday. Luckily, it cooled down a bit. It's 80s, 90s right now, I'd say. What do you think, Pat?
I'd say about 90.
Yeah, I picked this up not too long ago. Actually, it's the 034 turbo inlet pipe. So far, it's been good. So now we're just gonna take this bad boy out. This is this custom heat shield that you can get off of eBay. It's about 75 bucks. Obviously, I don't have any proper heat protection on it, but the plan is in the future is to get this thing done, possibly wrap up the test pipe, just so it's the proper way. But we'll get there when we get there. But for now, I'm glad I got this before COVID started, because it's kind of hard to get them. So let's start by taking out this here so we can get to the breather pipe. I got the coupling as well, so we're gonna replace all that. But the main focus is gonna be this valve cover gasket. So it may just be easier to actually bust this out and take all that off. So let's start with that. We're gonna take this all off first. Those nice and loose. Take out the coil packs. If anybody has any recommendations to replace these clips, get something a little bit more sturdy. I know these are kind of falling apart. The whole goal is to refresh this. Damn it. I think we gotta take this out first. Now we're gonna get the hot air intake out, because cool. That's out. Sweet. Just hang it. So if you ever want to get one of these, just for some sound, don't ever spend $400 on one of those air filters. Yeah, they do have the proper heat protection, but if you just want something for fun and from some sounds, easily swap it in and out. It's like 50 bucks at AutoZone. This is the Spectra. Literally, all you have to do is remove this from your air box, connect it to your turbo inlet, also to the MAF, and then you're all set. So you're gonna use your T30 to get out all these bolts to pull off the valve cover. I'm just gonna loosen them now, even though I still have to remove the PCV system. I'm just breaking them loose so I can get this out of the way as well, since I'm already over here. Those broken loose. If you've never replaced those bolts, they do have like a little rubber feeling around them. I highly recommend changing those out. We replaced those about a year ago. They're just a little bit grimy, but I know they're gonna be replaced, so it's not a big deal. Replace those if you can. It's definitely a little bit more extra money. However, you can still leak oil from those locations if they're really old and starting to fall apart. It's just peace of mind. All right, so now I'm gonna remove part of the PCV system, just because once you get this out, you really wanna get into the valve cover to make sure it's really clean of any other debris, of old oil. So these bolts on the PCV system, it's always great to have one of these little tools. It's just a little magnetic one you can pick up for $5. What I like to do when these ones are coming out, you just connect it right up. Don't have to worry about falling on top of the intake manifold. So. This one's not done. think that's all of them. Nope, we got one more down on the bottom. Oh, the bottom one's not even in. Okay. Cool. That's how you get off your PCV system. It's just a few of those bolts. Make sure you don't yank on these tubes too much. If those clips are broken, highly recommend replacing all of them. Next, you're wanting to do is remove this line, but this loosens up everything on top of the valve cover. And all you have to do is basically remove the breather and this line right here. So now that this is all loosened up and almost ready to go, I'm gonna remove this stuff. There you go. Honestly, one of these is 150 bucks. I think I bought it off 034 Motorsports. I said it right. Highly recommend one of these over the stock ones. These things, they'll last a long time and they're still good. They're good for OEM. You want better airflow, recommend one of these. It's just gonna keep things cooler. It's gonna keep air temps down potentially, depending on where you're at and how your tune is. There's a lot of factors. So now that that pipe's out, you actually want to grab a rag. This is always a safe thing to do, and plug up this hole. You don't want any debris or anything getting sucked into the turbo.
A clean rag too if you have it.
Yeah, clean one. So let's just start removing the breather coupling, getting that out of the way. I initially think that this is my culprit along with the breather for my oil leak, because I'm seeing the oil drip down on top of the turbo and I'm not seeing any of the other lines spitting out anything. So these right here are my least favorite clips of all time. I think everybody agrees. My way around it is pick some of these up. These are some cheap ones I bought from Harbor Freight for like $2. They are terrible, but they do the job. So if you ever start working on one of these cars, I recommend picking these up. I actually just replaced this gasket for the breather not too long ago, so I am going to reuse it. If yours has not been replaced, get that little gasket done as well. If your local Audi dealership doesn't have it, your local VW dealership might as well. They share the same parts catalog. So now we can finally pull off the PCV breather. There we go. Here's the old one. That's a lot of oil. Can't really see anything wrong with it, but they're just prone to failure over time. So to get this one off, if it's not budging, try to get like an angle pick. If you don't have one, then you're gonna have to use like a flathead. There you go. That's out of the way. Now the valve cover is completely free of connecting to the PCV system entirely. And all we have to do is pull out these screws and then we're good to go. These screws actually don't entirely come out. You need to force them out once you remove it. So just keep turning it all the way loose until you feel it not really moving anymore. And that means it should probably be at the top. You still might need to play with them a bit as you're starting to pull. Be careful, don't strip anything. So now that I got all those screws loose, you're gonna wanna make sure you remove the timing belt cover. And you're gonna wanna grab from either underneath where the breather sits, as well as this side, and kind of wiggle it. Don't give it too much force so you don't break anything or strip anything. You'll hear it start to peel like a sticker where the old gasket was. That's what you want to hear, and then kind of adjust from there where the screws are, because they still might be partially threaded. They come out weird, so just expect the unexpected. It's partially removed, but you can still feel that some of the things are threaded, so this is when we kind of go through each one and pull up on the side that you're working on as you go. Alright, so now we just got to deal with this side because I could feel the other side completely loose. One of these things is still threaded partially, or fell back into the socket. There we go.
Hey.
So this is where we can see top of the head, and we're not really seeing any major damage here. The cams seem to be happy. You want to look in the lobes to see if there's any indentations or divots. I'm not seeing anything, so that looks like the motor's pretty happy. This right here, I'm not too sure on. That might just be stained or part of the metal, but you guys let me know in the comments if you think it's anything suspicious, or I'll just go ask one of my buddies. But for now, we're gonna go around the outline of where the gasket sits, and we're gonna clean it up of any debris and old oil, make sure it has clean contact for the new gasket. Cool. Now that's all clean. We're ready to put back on the old one, but we're gonna clean out part of the valve cover as well to get rid of some of that old oil. Now that we got the new gasket in, as you can see here, make sure you go through and you don't see any other debris from the wind coming in. But yeah, these will all pop in, essentially locking it in. Double check to make sure the surface is clean, drop it on. Have a torque wrench yet. I'm gonna go over to my buddy's house and ensure that these are too tightening to spec. It's about 10 Newton meters according to Audi Zine. If it's more or less, you guys let me know down in the comments. But I'm gonna be doing it basically hand tight. You don't wanna over tighten them just because it's kind of a delicate part. You can just Google it up and it'll give you a diagram of which one you wanna torque first, 1 through 14, just because there are 14 screws. Follow that guideline, that's what I followed, I just pointed out, so. Alright, so we're going to install the new breather tube now. I'm going to put on the gasket as well. I got this line pushed out of the way, and I'm going to continue to keep stuff out of the way to make it easier. So take the extra step. Alright, now we got the bottom one in. Time to put it on the top. Bit, but we got the breather in and everything connected. I didn't really film all of it because my buddy Patrick had to go, so I didn't really have a cameraman, and I'm running out of daylight here. I'm just going to put in the air box and the MAF sensor and put back in the coil packs, and we're going to be done. Obviously I need to work on my angles for how I work on the car, plan better, and I definitely need to clean up my garage quite a bit. I got way too many boxes. Definitely my fault, so thank you guys for bearing with me. I appreciate it. Everything's back together now. Obviously I still need to do some tweaking here and there. This is just a test. I upped the boost for crack pressure from 9 psi to 12 just to see where it goes. I'm gonna be real gentle with it just to make sure I don't overboost. Anything over 24 psi, 25 is kind of the max. I'm trying to get in the 22 range, going from 19, 20. So let's see how it goes, and I'll post a video next time about the poles. Get some exhaust clips. I'll hook the GoPro to the back. I might have to make some adjustments here and there, and I'll definitely make another video about it. So thanks you guys for bearing with me. I'll catch you on the next time. See ya.